This is how I spiraled and completely went off the rails in my self-improvement, self-development, self-work journey, and what I'm doing to fix it. And if you're in this situation, watch the entire video because I'm going to give you some insights. Whether you did or didn't fall off, you're going to want to watch the entire video. So if you guys don't know much about me, I was very big on self-improvement, self-development a few years ago. And I basically didn't have too much money at the time, but I was very happy, very in alignment with myself, very confident. And, I started making videos on this channel. I started making tutorials. Well, what basically happened is that probably a year and a half ago, went through a really bad breakup with a woman I thought I was going to marry. And ever since that moment, that's when the first chink in my armor started forming. Technically the first chinks in my armor started forming when I started kind of having girlfriends. I started skipping on my diet. I started to just every now and then have a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of a cigarette, but it never really got out of control until I would say 5-6 months ago. So but yeah, a year and a half ago, I broke things off with a woman I thought I was going to marry. I wasn't very happy with her. And that just left me with a lot of pain inside. And it seemed like ever since I had broken up with that girl, I didn't even lose that girl. Like, she didn't cheat on me. She didn't do nothing bad to me. We're just an incompatible match, essentially. And I had to break things off. She was stressing me out. And it was just crazy. But I remember when I broke things off, I thought everything was going to get better, and instead everything started getting a little bit worse. And it wasn't anyone's fault but my own. And that's a little bit why I'm making this video. It's me being honest, me being accountable with myself, that I'm the reason that I have a lack of discipline. It's not other people, it's not the world. I'm not going to blame society, but I'm just trying to give you an example of basically the stress of a lot of these things had caused me to start unraveling, right? Well, also my business blew up, right? Like, I started making a bunch of money. I started making money online. I went to Asia. I went to Vietnam. I went to Thailand. I thought my life was going to completely change. I thought I was going to be living this Dubai lifestyle and everything was going to be perfect. But the funny thing is I went to paradise, more money, more girls, more everything. And I was not happy. I felt like a degenerate. I felt gross inside. I was eating some of the worst food ever. I was sleeping around with a bunch of women. And I was drinking alcohol. I was smoking cigarettes. And then that boils down to this point. So I was getting so out of control when I was in Asia that I basically came back home to America. Yeah, I'm back in my small town recording vlogs, right back where I started. And I came back a few weeks ago, and the first thing I did when I landed, this was a big mistake. The first thing I did was I smoked weed. I'm not joking. I've made videos on this channel about quitting weed. And the first thing I wanted to do, I was already thinking about it before I got on the plane, was that I wanted to smoke weed when I got home and relax a little bit, because I've been gone and I've been stressed and I've been tired and I just want to smoke a fucking doobie with one of my buddies. Well, that kick-started a chain reaction. I remember I literally had a panic attack when I first smoked the weed in the truck. I was just like not used to it. Hadn't smoked in a long time. Well, these past few weeks, I've been smoking weed every day and cigarettes. Well, not every single day with the cigarettes, but the weed, yes. And weed was the worst addiction that I had back when I was at rock bottom. I was smoking weed from the second I woke up to the second I went to bed. And my life was hell. I had huge anxiety, antisocial. And I'm starting to notice the same things coming from smoking this weed. It's not quite there yet, but I'm feeling less social. I'm feeling an anxiety, and my alarm bells are going off. So today I felt something, and I broke things off with my ex. I was still, by the way, my ex-fiance, who I broke things off with, that I had so much pain, so much trauma from breaking up with this girl, from ending with this girl, because I thought I was gonna have kids with this girl. I thought that I had found the one. You know, this is the girl. She's beautiful, she's smart, she's this, she's that, she's successful. She checked almost all the boxes, but personality-wise, when we were living together, it was bad. There was a lot of fighting. She couldn't just submit, you know. She could not just accept who I was, and it was just insane. Like, too much fighting, too much arguing. I was stressed out. When I was around her, I felt a lack of energy. When I've been in relationships where I felt a boost of energy from being around the female, from being around the girl. And in this relationship, I always felt a lack of energy. I felt like I was drained. I didn't feel good. You know, the sex was great. Yes, the girl was beautiful. Yes, all these things, right? The girl was beautiful, smart, pretty. She was great in bed. You know, she loves me. I love her, right? We care about each other. But every time I was around her, I tried so many times. I went back to her so many times, and every time it was just stressful. It was just stress every single time. I never felt 100% sure if I wanted to be with her. And that was the problem with that relationship. That whole relationship, except for the very beginning. In the very beginning, I was quite happy. But a few months into it, I kind of started getting bored and started talking to another girl online from Argentina. And this girl basically, you know, I started resenting my girlfriend, aka, you know, which eventually became my fiance, because I got back with her. Felt so bad that I bought her a ring. I didn't even want to buy her a ring. I was doing it because I felt like, oh, that was the societal pressure. But we don't listen to the slave mind here, you know. But anyways, I'm going on a bit of a tangent. Basically, all this built up trauma over the past few years, all this baggage, all this emotional baggage, I basically brought all that baggage with me all the way to Asia. You know, I tried to live in another country. I brought all that negative, you know, trauma with me, and I wasn't happy. You know, I had all these things in life. I had the money, the women, the apartment, you know, live wherever I want. I can still do that. I still have that, but those things would not make me happy. I still felt this negative cloud following me around. And I realized, I was like, yo, when I was a monk, when I was disciplined, I didn't have no money. I didn't have no girls. I didn't have any of this shit. I didn't have no status. I was a fucking loser. But when I crawled out of the hole, I felt like a fucking hero. I felt like a winner. I was a winner. I am a winner. What I'm trying to say is, I've found myself back in this hole, back in this same situation, falling back on these negative habits, these negative patterns. And I felt a huge shame inside. And I stopped uploading on this channel, barely. You know, because I'm like, who am I to tell people how to stay disciplined? Who am I to tell people how to live their life when I can't even control my own impulses? When I can't even stop myself from smoking that cigarette? When I can't even stop myself from hitting that blunt? Who am I to tell someone how to live their life or how to improve their life when I'm going through the struggle? But that's the thing. And that's what I'm starting to realize today. I learned something today. I'm young. I'm not perfect. I thought I had it all figured out. But in reality, I didn't. And I've noticed this every time in life. One of the biggest lessons. Every time you think you have it all figured out, that's when you realize you don't. Every time you get that feeling, when you say, oh, I've fucking got it. I've got it down. I know what the fuck I'm doing. That's when life will kick you in the balls. Life will kick you in the balls. And you're going to sit there from the shell shock like, fuck, I thought I had it all figured out. But that's not how it works, you know what I mean? you get kicked in the nuts and you got to get back up and you got to keep fighting. So what's happening to me, like I said on this channel, I made a 90-day challenge, sober, get off the drugs, get off the fucking cigarettes, stop the distractions with the women. I've already been cutting the women out of my life. Like I said, I blocked my ex today. I stopped texting a lot of girls that I was texting because I was just like, what's the point in this? Like, what am I doing? I'm just texting this girl because I'm bored or because I'm like horny or something. Like, I'm just sending these messages. Like, I can't even see this girl. I can't even meet this girl. Like, she's too far away, you know? And what I'm trying to say, guys, is I'm just cutting all the bullshit. Like, I've been in a rut. I've been in a spiral. I've been feeling negative for almost a year. For almost an entire year, I've had this negative mindset. I built myself up real high. And trust me, I'm not saying... I've been working hard. I've been fighting. I've been staying on the journey. I never got off the journey. I never stopped trying to do self-development. I never threw in the towel. I never said, you know what? I'm done with my self-improvement journey. I'm just going to fucking do whatever I want. Guys, I'm still on this journey. I'm still in this fight. I slipped up. I fell off. I went into a spiral. I entered a rut. Was currently in a rut. I'm not going to say I'm in a rut because that's a negative manifestation. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm serious about getting better. I'm serious about building myself back up so that I can get on this channel and then fucking spit facts. You know, I'm going through the same experience I went through before my first self-development journey. I was watching porn. I was doing drugs. I was smoking weed. I was smoking cigarettes. I felt horrible. I looked ugly. I was out of shape. I never went to the fucking gym. I never went running. But guys, I'm still out here running. I'm still out here studying these things. I'm still out here every single day I try. Even though, like, I smoked weed every day this week, I'm telling you guys that every day I put in the intentions to quit. That I knew it was bad. I knew it was something I didn't want to do. But I still had it in my mind to quit it. And that's how I got off the first time. The first time I quit weed, I probably relapsed 100 fucking times. I said, oh, I'm quitting tomorrow, and then I would spark up. Oh, I'm quitting 2 days from now, and then I would spark up. And then sometimes I would make it a week. And I probably relapsed 100 fucking times, and I felt terrible. When I finally stopped, when I finally had a clear mind, when I made it months without doing it, it was the best feeling ever, and I'm getting back to that feeling. I'm fucking locking back into this shit. So I made this video because I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I wanted to show you guys self-improvement, like these gurus, these people online. Guys, we're not perfect. Don't expect yourself. It's kind of like starting a business. Most businesses fail. Self-development and self-improvement, I've noticed, it's kind of like a business. They come and go. You'll have a really good period that you feel like is going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. You're going to enter a rough patch. I've been through ruts, slumps multiple times. This isn't my first rodeo. And that's just the way of the world. It's rhythm. So like, subscribe, check out the rest of my content. Peace.